Hi everyone, and welcome back to my sewing space. I'm Jenny from Hooby Made. These are my kiddos.
Jason from Hooby Made.
And that's Penelope
From Hooby Made.
from Hooby Made. Today we're going to be making the peekaboo bag from Mormino. Thank you, Lauren, again for letting me use her patterns for this tutorial. This is a very quick and very fun project. It's perfect for makeup, toiletries, snacks, pretty much anything you want to put into just a handheld little bag. I used vinyl on the exterior and canvas on the interior. The exterior vinyl is all from Mormino. The zipper pulls and other hardware is from Mormino Studios as well. I cannot remember where I got this really cool mermaid zipper from, but if I find it, I'll link it in the description. See, and then the interior is mermaid canvas, which I think is extremely beautiful.
And the zipper.
And I added a zipper pocket to this bag, but it's not necessary and it's not in the pattern, but I'll show you how I do the zipper pocket for this. Other than that, it's going to be a fun project, so come sew along with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is the canvas lining. And then I have a cutout of canvas for the zipper pocket interior. These are the front center panels. Please follow the pattern for the sizing. And then these are the side panels for the front and back. Again, follow the pattern for the dimensions. Here I created a zipper overlay. There's another video I'll be creating shortly that uses this tool that I got from Carolina Stitches. And then these are zipper tabs. This is a thread I'll be using from Saya Swag. I think it's called Peacock. Here's our zipper tape. And our zipper pulls from Mormino. Here's the pattern. Okay, now here I am just getting everything all organized and ready to sew. I'm going to go ahead and start with the zipper pocket on the interior. I cut a piece of the zipper tape a little bit longer than I'm actually going to need. And I use double-sided tape to tape down and center my zipper overlay. And instead of back stitching here, I'm going to be doing leaving the threads long and then pulling them through and knotting them in the back. That gives it a nice clean look. The zipper overlay is a good spot to add a little tag if that's what you want to do, and that's what I'm doing here. I think I got these tags from Mormino as well. So for this step, I like to go real slow, just follow the edge, keep the tails long, leave your needle down before you pivot on a corner. That makes pivoting much easier. The tails out of the way, and then I like to line this up and get it right next to the hole from the entry point. Then you pull the threads through. You can use a tool or your fingers, and then I like to triple knot them. You can double knot, but triple knot just really ensures that the knotting doesn't come apart. And then I'm going to trim the threads, and I like to burn them just slightly so that they're melted down, but you don't want to burn too much or then the threading will just come apart. So I'm cutting a hole in the center of the zipper overlay and then cutting out the fabric around the zipper overlay. And now we're going to prep the pocket. So for this, it's not the traditional way of doing the zipper pocket. You're going to face it wrong sides together here, as you see. Then I'm going to use a construction stitch for this portion and then a top stitch when we lay it flat. And the reason for laying it the second time is just so that it lays flat underneath the fabric of the lining piece. When we see how it sticks up right here, if you did that, you would have a little bit of wrinkling under your lining when you sew the zipper pocket down. So if you top stitch here, it keeps it nice and flat. Okay, and then we're going to repeat on the other side. Zipper tape up, so wrong side of the tape facing the interior or the right side of the canvas. Construction stitch and then top stitch. For my juki, I like to use a 3 for my construction stitch and 5.5 for my top stitch. But each machine is slightly different, so you kind of just got to figure out which stitch length is best for which. So I'm using some double-sided tape here and making sure that the zipper is in the center. And this will help me ensure that the zipper overlay is perfectly centered before I start stitching. And it keeps it in place while you stitch as well. So you want to leave the pocket completely open while you do this, otherwise you're accidentally going to sew it closed. So you leave it open and then follow around the interior, going over the zipper carefully and using the same process as you did for the outer stitch. Okay, then triple knot, trim, and melt. Now we're going to close up the pocket. You just move the lining out of the way and ensure that the zipper is really closed tight, and then just sew with the construction stitch along the edges of the pocket so it's nice and closed. And then trim. I like to melt the edges of the zipper tape just so it doesn't start fraying. Now our lining is complete and we're going to work on the front and exterior pocket, or tops. Sorry. So you line up the edge panels with the center panel. Use a construction stitch along each edge at the seam allowance in the pattern. Make sure you backstitch at the top and bottom of every stitch so that it doesn't come apart. Now we're going to fold it over and use a top stitch on the exterior of the fabric so it smushes it down and it looks really pretty. Again, don't forget to backstitch at the top and bottom of every stitch. Now's a good time to put your name tag or a bag tag on the bag, and that's what I went to go get. I'm going to mark centers. It's good to mark all your centers on all pieces, just so you know where things are. I'm trying to decide exactly where I want my tag. I like to mark it from the back so I know exactly where to cut, and then I use seam rippers just to make a slight incision. And then I insert the bag tag, and I like to put some interfacing just so the metal doesn't rub on the fabric and kind of mess it up in the future. And then I also like to put some tape on it. Okay, and now we're going to cut out these squares. The measurements are in the pattern, and I think Lauren has you cut them out before you sew it together, but I always put them on backwards, so I like to do it like this. I mark everything after and then cut them out right before I sew it together. I created this little gadget. It's just a piece of cardboard at the right size so I can mark and cut the squares. Okay, I'm going to prep the zipper. There's a inch guideline in the pattern that you can use, but I like mine to have a little bit bigger of a gap between the zipper and the edge, just because it's easier to sew. And so I cut mine a little bit shorter. Now we're going to prep the zipper tabs. Okay, so you fold them over on the zipper tape on each end with the zipper pull already on. You have to make sure it's on. And then I like to just sew a big box, even though some of it's going to get cut off. It just makes it easier for me, but you can just sew the two sides that will be shown. Make sure you do this at the top stitch length. Okay, and then you're going to trim down your zipper tabs so that they're even with the zipper tape. Okay, and I'm marking the center of the zipper, and we're going to line that up with the center of the fabric, right side down, so right sides facing each other with the exterior fabric. And then we're going to sandwich the exterior or the interior lining face down, and we're going to sew this at the seam allowance mentioned in the pattern and with a construction stitch. Go slow, move the zipper, pull out of your way so that you don't get a bump or ruin the zipper. And then I'm going to top stitch here, fold it all together. I like to sew my lining together with my exterior fabric. So I'm smushing it all down and making sure it's all lined up, and then I'm going to do a top stitch across right next to, about a 1/8 seam allowance. Okay, and then we're going to repeat on the other side. I'm going to use the zipper pocket lining as the back so that when you open it up you can see the zipper pocket right away. Okay, and then you're going to face the lining right sides together and the exterior right sides together, and make sure the zipper pull is open. Line everything up and clip it together. Then we're going to sew with the seam allowance in the pattern along all sides, except we're going to leave an opening at the bottom of the lining. And here I'm just folding back the edges so that it's easier when we pull it through and sew it the bottom together. It's just something I like to do. It's not necessary. Okay, I'm going to start at the edge. I'm going to backstitch quite a bit right there where we're going to be pulling the bag through. And then you just sew along all the edges with the exception of the box. We're going to box it all together in just a second. Okay, and then we're coming back around to the bottom edge. We're going to do the edge to about an inch in, and then backstitch real good right there, and leave the center open for pulling the bag through. Okay, now we're just going to be boxing all four corners. So you just line up the centers till they meet, and then the corners will pull out. Again, sew that at the same seam allowance that's mentioned in the pattern. I'd definitely say go check out Mormino's website. She has quite a few really good beginner-friendly patterns that can be modified if you're more of an intermediate sewer as well. So in addition to picking up this pattern, pick up a few others. They're all really good. I love making her bags. And that's it. You turn the bag through. We're going to sew the bottom of the lining together and then push it all together, and it's done. This is a really cute and quick makeup bag, or toiletries, snacks, whatever you need. I use it for all kinds of stuff. I really hope that you enjoyed making this bag with us. Please go to our website, and my son would like to tell you to subscribe, so here he comes.
3, 2, 1. You guys should all subscribe and like the video.
If you subscribe